Hello and welcome back to the Everbranch Channel. I'm here in Glastonbury with Tor Webster, our guide of Tor's Tour of the Tour. As you can see, we've got Glastonbury Tor right behind us. And Tor, you've been a resident in Glastonbury for how many years has it been now?
I moved here in 2001, 13 years.
And so you started your tour of the tour, which is actually a tour of the entire, the whole of the major sites of Glastonbury.
You experienced it the other day.
I did indeed. Yes, it is a very good tour, which I highly recommend to anyone who can visit when tour is around and available in Glastonbury, Somerset.
Thank you.
And what made you feel that it was important to offer these tours of the town?
It's a very good question. I've never been asked that before. I'm a very strong believer of the importance of the myths and legends of Glastonbury, especially that of Joseph of Arimathea and Mary Magdalene, because I truly believe they represent the alchemical marriage that Glastonbury truly represents, with the divine masculine of Joseph of Arimathea and Mary Magdalene, the divine feminine. Glastonbury has always been a place where the two have been balanced, and in times of ancient, as we see in Avebury, also a site very close by, the two, masculine and feminine, have lived in unity, and they do that by doing their own work. And as far as I can understand, it's the men that do work honouring the feminine, and it's the women do work that honour the masculine. So that's where the balance used to come from. And I get a lot of people come along to do tours that are searching for that balance, and that brings me a lot of joy to help guide them through that process. Also, the Arthur Pendragon and Guinevere story, which is the same story of the alchemical marriage of the divine masculine, divine feminine. So you have that story constantly represented throughout the ages in different ways. So the alchemical Gnostic process is constantly being replayed and relived,
and rewritten into that medieval or pre-medieval context with the Arthurian myths.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so, of course, as part of that, the Glastonbury Tour, or the Isle of Avalon, is seen as significant, particularly to Arthur's end and his final journey.
Yeah, they say that that Avalon is the resting place of King Arthur and Guinevere. But like I said, they're one and the same archetype. I believe they're archetypal characters. They weren't actual physical characters. I believe the title Arthur Pendragon, which Arthur means great bear, Pendragon means great dragon, and through the Celtic Christianity, the bear clans, which are the Nordic clans, and the dragon clans, which are the Welsh and the Britons, were united using the knowledge that was given to the Britons by Mary Magdalene, and the Cathars are the kind of the main order that we have today, the knowledge that exists today.
Where this has translated into a more global concept, you've been quite an important figure in bringing forward this whole idea of the Earth actually having its own chakras, its own.
Yeah, this is a concept
from
a man called Robert Kuhn, who had a vision in 1967, where Father Abraham came down to tell him about 13 gateways across the planet, linking up the first 6 relating to the chakras, the next 7 relating to the alchemical process, which is the alchemical marriage, purification, spiritual immortality, fire, air, earth, water, yeah. So Glastonbury is the heart chakra of the planet, I found out about this concept after living here for a number of years, and a lot of people are working with that concept to help shift the consciousness from the Piscean age that was started by the birth of Christ, and now we're moving into the age of Aquarius, which is kind of signified by the Christ consciousness, which is a concept where Christ said that I will return, but I will not return alone. So now we are coming back to the true essence of the early Christians, or the Celtic Christians, the essence of love, which is beyond, way beyond the church, and definitely the kind of the Catholic Church, you know, back to the feminine aspects of Christianity, because the Celtic Christian Church moved steadily up like that, and the Catholic Church went whoa, and it's going way down, you know. So it's kind of like, you know, the balance is regaining, you know.
So coming back to the chakras and this idea of chakra gateways in the earth, you've also seen Glastonbury as holding the third eye for the time being, as well as the heart chakra.
Yeah, the concept of that from Robert Kuhn's work was that the third eye consciousness would move around the planet a 12th every 2,230 odd years, which is part of the precession of the equinox, which is beginning. The Pisces, like I said, began with the birth of Christ, and now we're moving into the Aquarian age, and then, you know, we'll move on, you know, throughout the different star signs in this cycle. And for in the next 100 years, the energy will be moved from Glastonbury to Recife in Brazil, which is the next place, and it will be grounded there for the next 2,000 years. But we don't know the significance. But there's an interesting thing going on, especially with the Olympics in Brazil, because actually the design of the site is a rainbow serpent. So there's something going on there, you know. And for the Olympics in London, the design of the Olympics for London, the opening ceremony, was New Jerusalem, which is Glastonbury. You see, and they had Glastonbury Tor with the oak tree, and we know the oak tree is very much a druidic symbol. So there's something going on, you know, in the psyche of those that create these things. And you know, the Olympics is a very important ceremony, you know, where all the kind of the countries unite, and there's no war, there's unity, and there's support, and you know, and camaraderie, you know.
The viewers should be made aware that the significance of the rainbow serpent is actually all covered in Tor's DVD, the Rainbow Serpent, which covers ideas pertaining to all of these 6 global chakra points.
Exactly, yeah.
I will put the link for that in the description for this video, as well as, of course, your tours of the Tor. We're getting into, you know, very, very deep territory with all of this, but what would you say makes Glastonbury so important of its role as the heart chakra of the globe?
Well, if you look at the heart chakra, or the heart in the body, because it's all about the microcosm, macrocosm, you know, the heavens and the earth, you know, that goes beyond all the confusion of religion and gods and goddesses and all that, you know. The basics of everything is that we are part of a great universe. We have to look at the big picture and the small picture. If you look at the heart in the body, you've got the heart pumps in the blood that needs to be purified, and then it purifies the blood and then pumps it out again. And Glastonbury is very important because it's got 7 holy springs. It's got the very famous red spring and the white spring and the less famous blue spring, so the waters are very important, you know, for the spiritual practices. You know, we need to drink the waters, we need to connect to the waters, we need to work with purifying the waters in the body and in the earth, so it's kind of, you can imagine the you know, everybody coming here attracted to drink the waters, then drink the waters, purify themselves, and then it's pumped out again. So that brings in the bad blood and pumps out the good blood. You know,
in its own way, more than anything, then Glastonbury and these springs are very much a centrally watery axis mundi.
Yeah.
To the globe, and so with the significance of the trees, such as the Glastonbury thorn, we do then have a kind of connection in essence to many other, you know, major trees in that magic, in that flow. That's very significant to me as a priest of the Everbranch. Having that connection to all world trees, to all form of axis mundi. So
we have many important trees, like the Gog and Magog, the ancient oak trees that were part of an avenue placed here by the Druids, leading from the water's edge when it was an island to the Tor. And we've got an avenue of yew trees in the Chalice Well that are still there today. So we've got many of the holy trees, and still today, you know, the Druids and the pagans and many different faiths and traditions. We've got over 70 practicing faiths and traditions in Glastonbury, so they all work with the trees. But also all those traditions and faiths that are here represented and can work in a unity is also to do with the heart, because the heart is the balancing point. And a lot of people are drawn here and feel comfortable here in the heart, and can express themselves without being judged or being criticized, you know. So it's another element of the heart chakra.
Do you worry, though, that some of those faith communities might potentially cause constriction and blocks in within that chakra?
No, because the Glastonbury is far more powerful than any faith and tradition, because it's got its own energy. No one can come in here and claim it and recreate this energy, because it will, like the waters, like the White Spring, for example. The owners, the protectors or the guardians of the White Spring, they say that people come here and do loads of crazy magic, and then because the water's constantly flowing, it's constantly cleansing it. So within seconds, people come here, do crazy magic, and then all the energy that they've provoked has gone, because it's been washed away by the continuous, you know, flow of water. You know?
So you would say that if any community is, you know, creating a bubble around itself that
Glastonbury bubble.
Yes, you're already aware of this concept. Yes, that kind of bubble that keeps other people and their energies out and stops that kind of flow or constricts it, then it's them who will be much more in danger than.
That's not danger. I mean, it's, you know. No one can claim the energies of Avalon, because, you know, very few people can actually invoke that energy. I mean, I think it's such a personal relationship with the energies of Avalon. You know, we have Glastonbury, and Avalon is an overlay, like a spiritual overlay of the town.
Perhaps
and
not.
You yourself, everybody has their own personal connection. You know, you always see individuals walking around on their own. You know, you never see so much groups. You know, kind of.
But perhaps not. Perhaps danger is too strong a word. But perhaps. In an overly simplified way, I might mean karma. You know, that where a blockage is, where a blockage or constriction is made in this you know, great grand energy center by any community, then you know, karma will see that actually the flow will still keep going no matter what they do.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's been here thousands and thousands of years, and you know, people have tried to claim it, and I mean, for example, you know, they tried to build a church twice on this hill, and both times it's been destroyed. You know, as along many of the holy hills. You know, you can't mess with this stuff. You know, you really can't. You know, even if you try and claim something, you know, it will prove you wrong. You know, that no one person, no one group can claim Glastonbury, you know, or Avalon. It's a collaboration, you know, and it's about love. You know, if you love, then the energy of Avalon will support you. But if you try and dominate and try and, you know, take over, you're not loving, so you're not going to succeed. You know?
If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to, you know, really bring a significant end note to the ending of this recording, and just do a very quick prayer to help pump that that divine masculine under, you know, under its many guises and wisdoms. You know, under the many ways that it's known, back into the world for the sake of that heart chakra process.
Sure. Okay. Well, I don't. You know, it's not. It has to be balanced. You know, it's not about the divine masculine, but it's about the balance of it. You know?
But, of course, but so that it may, you know, pour out and be pumped out significantly for all people, women and men.
Oh yeah, sure.
This is a call and response chant that I've come up with in my own exploration of the chakras, and it's simply the names of male spirits or gods, which are significant to me simply within the heart chakra. So I'll it's call and response. I'll chant, and you can chant in return. Is that all right with you?
I don't know what you're gonna say. Why don't you do the call and response, and I'll just do the energy and hold the space.
Okay.
Is that all right?
We send this energy with love to all the hearts across the world. May those waters from that watery axis mundi keep flowing.
So deep. Om Shanti Shalom on peace.
Om Shanti Shalom on peace. Namaste, Tor.
Namaste. Nice one, Drew. Blessings to you.
Blessings to you. And blessings to you,
Yes.
my viewers. As I say, links for Tor's Tour of the Tor and the Rainbow Serpent will be in the video description. Thank you very much, and keep watching the Everbranch Channel.